You know, there's something about this that feels so right. But at the same time, it's still kind of difficult to believe. You may have been seeing this graphic going around social media the past little while, talking about the Vancouver Canucks and Quinn Hughes. Because some of these numbers that are indicated in this graphic are absolutely gobsmackingly crazy that we gotta go out there and make a video about it. So, let's dive into it here. This show is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Go out there, check out that first link in the description to save some money on your VPN, get some free months, and support this YouTube channel in the process. This was initially posted by Dan Murphy on his Twitter account, and it talks about how, in terms of even strength numbers, as of December 27th, 2024, the Vancouver Canucks score at a higher rate than literally any team we have seen in the 18-season-long shot attempt tracking era since 07-08 with Hughes on the ice. Number 2. Vancouver has the second best even-strength goal differential per 60 in the same sample. It's only second to the historic Bruins group of 22-23. Without Quinn Hughes, the Vancouver Canucks score at a rate only better than about 10% of 552 teams since 07-08. And Vancouver also has the 24th worst even-strength goal differential per 60 in the same sample, worse than, among others, the 9-10 and 13-14 Oilers and Chicago in the final 3 seasons pre-Bedard. And these 4 individual stats are nuts. With Hughes, the Vancouver Canucks are almost one of the best teams we have seen in the past 18 years, if not the best. And without Hughes, the Canucks are worse than the gosh darn Chicago Blackhawks before Bedard? Bro, if this doesn't indicate how much of a Jekyll and Hyde season this has been for the Vancouver Canucks, I don't know what will. In terms of importance to a team, even Dan Murphy says it on the Sportsnet video that's linked here, maybe it's Dustin Wolf and Quinn Hughes who are in a territory by themselves. Quinn has totally taken over as the best player on Vancouver this season. That's not even a surprise. And maybe you could even say Quinn is having the best individual Vancouver Canucks season out of any Vancouver Canuck player relative to the rest of his team ever? I mean, Pavel Bure had 60-goal seasons. JT Miller, Marcus Naslund, Elias Pettersson, Henrik and Daniel, they each had 100 points. McGillney was a really great scorer for Vancouver. But Quinn Hughes literally takes this Vancouver Canucks team from being worse than the pre-Bedard Blackhawks to being the best team ever in the 18-season-long shot attempt tracking era in scoring rates. And the second best team in even-strength goal differential per 60, only second to the crazy good Boston Bruins of 22-23. Like, how more hyperbolic can you get when you make a sentence like that? From that bad to that good, Quinn Hughes is one guy who plays like half the gosh darn game, and when he plays, the Vancouver Canucks all of a sudden become that elite of a team? Like, the top guy on the Vancouver Canucks in points this season, okay, yeah, it's Quinn Hughes, but you think about all the other players, Elias Pettersson, it took him a long while to get going. JT Miller was not producing nearly as much as he could have when he was in Vancouver. Connor Garland, Brock Besser, they're kind of hovering in that 40-point range. Pius Suter, one of the top point scorers on the team, especially lately, has been doing most of his offense at 5v5. That's great. But none of these players are near any sort of an impact that Quinn Hughes provides on a nightly basis. It's gotten to the point here where I saw this comment made on the Canucks subreddit. I think this is a really illuminating point. Take a look at this conversation from Metric Hustle. I don't know if I'm just desensitized to how good Quinn Hughes is, but I'm not even surprised at these stats anymore. Like, if you told me he'll win the Norris and the MVP this year, I would be more like, yeah, sounds about right. Not, wow, what an achievement. Because to me, he is in that same class as McKinnon, etc. For what he brings to the Canucks, he is basically our McDavid. Anyone else feel the exact same feelings? Or lack of feelings, rather? And I think that's just such a good way to put it, because us Canucks fans, we recognize how good Quinn has been, even without the crazy numbers. Like, you didn't need this Dan Murphy post to go out there and say, yeah, they've been this good with him and this bad without him. You didn't need those numbers to understand just how much better he makes the team. Maybe the magnitude as to how drastic the change is, maybe that's surprising. But ultimately, if Quinn Hughes wins a Norris this year, if he wins a Hart this year, firstly, I don't think he will, but if he does, Canucks fans are going to be like, yeah, that makes sense. It's probably deserved here. I don't think any Canucks fan would be super shocked if Quinn Hughes ended up winning these awards. Now, okay, maybe that's all just in the Vancouver bubble, because I recognize that outside Vancouver, Quinn Hughes probably doesn't have a good chance of winning these trophies. He missed so much time. Cale Makar has such a big lead in points, and Werenski is up there too. I'd say that Quinn is kind of falling out of favor with the Norris race, and then for the Hart, unless the Vancouver Canucks make the playoffs, I don't think Quinn is a real contender for that trophy this year. Playoff teams always get the awards going to them anyway, like Taylor Hall for New Jersey, for example. But ultimately, if Quinn were to win these awards, which I don't think he's going to, but if he were to, I think a lot of Canucks fans would have been like, yeah, it's probably deserved. Last year, I feel, Canucks fans were more excited to see Quinn Hughes win, mostly because it had never happened before. Quinn Hughes had never beaten Cale Makar in literally anything, so it was a really big deal for him to finally take control and take the victory. Also, there was growing anticipation because Quinn did lead the entire defense class in points and everything was looking really good, and Pettersson was a finalist for the Bing, and Demko was a finalist for the Vezina, and Tocchet won the Coach of the Year, so there was a lot of excitement everywhere for the Vancouver Canucks. But dare I say, Quinn Hughes, despite the lower point totals this season compared to last, maybe not per game, because I think per game he actually is on pace to outscoring last year's production, although with all the games missed, he's not going to reach it. Is it not ridiculous to say that Quinn Hughes is actually playing better this year than he was last year? Maybe a lot of that is due to responsibility. Maybe it's him trying to step up and forcing his hand. We saw him take that end-to-end rush by himself against New Jersey yesterday in overtime. That's something that I don't know if Quinn Hughes last year would have even attempted to do. He had a really quick rush against the New York Rangers where he broke the record for the top speed accomplished by any player this year. Quinn Hughes last year, maybe he's not going out there and trying those things, but this year, he's playing like a man unhinged. And this is the best I think we have ever seen Quinn Hughes as a Vancouver Canuck, and hopefully he is able to sustain it properly. Who knows if this level of play is sustainable for his own physical, and whether or not he's actually able to play like this for an 82-game campaign or a 16-win Stanley Cup playoff run. Who knows? One thing's for sure, though, the team needs to be better around him, because if they're playing like pre-Blackhawks Bedard when Quinn is not on the ice, it just goes to show you how bad this team needs Quinn to succeed. So with that in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about these crazy Quinn Hughes stats and just how everything has unfolded for the Vancouver Canucks with this player and how he is absolutely the most valuable guy on this team. Let me know in the comments what do you think. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.